Social Security for survivors. I've been getting a ton of questions on Social Security for survivor benefits, and we're going to go over that here real quick, just using the exact document that the SSA, Social Security Administration, provides us. And I just want to just read it almost verbatim because I think it'd be incredibly helpful to you. So let's go over this here today. Welcome to the Heritage Wealth Planning YouTube channel, the place where you come to learn about Social Security benefits for survivors and everything else financial planning related. You name it, we're going to talk about it. So don't forget to click subscribe down below. Once you subscribe, hit the notification bell is up there someplace to be notified for future content. We are doing at least a video a day here at the Heritage Wealth Planning YouTube channel, and you want to be kept in the loop. Lots going on. So let's dive right into this. Again, this is directly from the Social Security website, and I'll put a link to it in the show notes. Social Security, SSA.gov, planners, survivors, it's a tough URL. But anyway, SSA.gov, benefits planners, survivors, if you are the survivor. So let's just read this. I think it'll be interesting for you, and it'll help you learn because I'm getting a ton of questions on this. Just as you plan for your family's protection if you die, you should consider the Social Security benefits that may be available if you are the survivor. That is the spouse, child, or parent of a worker who dies. The person must have worked long enough under Social Security to qualify for benefits. That means the person who died must have worked long enough to qualify for benefits. How your spouse earns Social Security survivor benefits. A worker can earn up to 4 credits each year. And for example, in 2018, one credit was $1,320. So we take 13. Well, there it is. It tells you right there to get 4 credits, you need $5,280 to get 4 credits for the year in 2018. You need 40 credits. All right, my friends, 40 credits, which is essentially 10 years of working to get this kind of scratch to get the full benefits from Social Security. So just keep that in mind. 10 years, 40 credits. So 4 credits a year. You can get this in one day, by the way. All right. So if you just made a big commission day of, $5,300, you have your 4 credits for the year and you can quit. I don't know how you live, but you could do that. And you could do that once a year and you'll have your 40 credits after 10 years. You can't get more than 4 credits in 1 year, though. Just be advised. The number of credits needed to provide benefits for survivors depending on the worker's age when they die. No one needs more than 40 credits to be eligible for the benefits. So again, if you have 10 years of working and you made $5,200 on average each year, you're fine. But the younger a person is, the fewer credits they must have for family members to receive survivor benefits. Benefits can be paid to the worker's children and the surviving spouse who is caring for the child, even if the worker doesn't have enough required credits. They can get the benefits if the worker has credit for 1.5 years, 6 years, 6 credits of work in the 3 years just before their death. Each person's situation is different, so you need to talk Social Security. So, I mean, if you're 19 and a half and you're married with a kid and you die, that's 6 credits. Your spouse can still get some Social Security benefit. We should be notified as soon as possible when a person dies. However, you cannot report a death for survivor benefits online. You got to go down there. You cannot report a death or apply for survivor benefits online. And they just repeated that. We should be notified as soon as possible if someone dies. Okay, so same exact thing. Except this is the first sentence, the second. This is the second, this is the first. All right. In most cases, this is interesting. The funeral home will report the death to us. You should give the funeral home the deceased Social Security number of the person you want to make the report. But remember, you have to go there to file. You cannot report or file for benefits online. I'm not going to talk about death benefits. All right. If the deceased spouse was receiving Social Security benefits, you must return the benefit received for the month of death and any later months. Some folks will neglect to tell Social Security that their spouse just died in order to get the benefit of the decedent. And Social Security is going to pick up on that at some point, and you're going to have to pay it back. If a person died in July, you must return the benefits paid in August. How you return the benefits depends on how the deceased received the payment. So just keep that in mind. You can't have your, the weekend at Bernie's where your Bernie's just sitting there on the couch for 3 or 4 months and you're receiving the Social Security checks. I mean, you could. You're going to have to pay it back. At some point, you'll get caught. Believe it or not, at some point, Social Security is going to catch up to you, and they're going to say, pay up. Who receives benefits? This is important. A widow or widower age 60. All right, so this is survivor benefits. A widow or widower age 60 Spousal benefits is 62. All right. Spousal benefits 62. Survivor benefits is age 60 and 50 if disabled. A surviving divorced spouse, a widower or widower who is caring for the deceased child who is under 16 or disabled and receiving benefits on their record. An unmarried child of the deceased who is younger than 18 or up to 19 if they're a full-time student, age 18 or older with a disability that began before the age of 22. So there's a couple things in here for survivor benefits. Disability, you can be 50 if disabled to receive survivor benefits. So divorced, we talked about that in many episodes, but if you're divorced and you're married over 10 years, you can receive spousal benefits under certain circumstances, i.e. you haven't got remarried. We'll get in that a little bit. A widower who's caring for the deceased child who's also under 16 or disabled. An unmarried child of the deceased who is younger than 18 or 19 if a full-time student, or age 18 and with a disability. Okay, so just got to keep that in mind. If there's children involved, there's a good chance you receive benefits for your children as well as yourself, even if you're not 50 or 60. You just got to keep that in mind. Just remember, if there's children involved, you definitely want to file. Again, not online. You got to go down there for survivor benefits. Other family members eligible? Yes. Under circumstances, a stepchild, grandchild, step-grandchild are adopted, and parents age 62 and older who are dependent on the deceased for at least half their support. Eligible family members may be able to receive survivor benefits for the month that the beneficiary dies. So just remember that if I'm taking care of my folks and they're age 62 or older and they were dependent on me for at least half their support, I could receive or they could receive benefits because I'm dead. All right, so here's what I want to talk about: widower or widowed. If you're the widow of a person who worked long enough under Social Security, you can receive benefits at full retirement age for survivors or reduced benefits at as early as 60. So full retirement age for survivors. If you're born before 1960, it was 66 and maybe some months. If you're born 1960 and beyond, your full retirement age is 67. So just remember, full retirement age, you can receive your full benefits at full retirement age at 66 or 67 for you, the survivor. It's reduced as early as 60 years old. All right, so just keep that in mind. You can qualify if you qualify for retirement benefits on your own record. You can switch to your own retirement benefit as early as 62. So you basically take a reduced survivor benefit at the age of 60, reduce, and then at age 62, switch to your own reduced benefit at 62. I'm not a big fan of that at all. In fact, I don't see very often where that makes sense, but situation dictates, my friends. You can begin receiving benefits as early as age 50 if you are disabled and the disability started before or within 7 years of the worker's death. So you can't just say, I'm disabled, give me my Social Security benefits. No, sirree, Bob. You got to be disabled pretty significant before the time when the guy or lady died. If a widower is caring for their workers' children receive Social Security benefits, they're eligible if their disability starts before those payments and or within 7 years after they end. If you receive survivor benefits at any age, if you have not remarried and you take care of the deceased worker's child who is under age 16 or is disabled, it receives benefits on the worker's record. Again, I just remember, any child who's under 16, if you have something to do with the deceased, you need to go down Social Security. That's all there is to it. If you remarry after you reach 60, all right? So after you reach 60, if you remarried, age 50 if disabled, but you've been disabled for 7 years previously, your remarriage will not affect your eligibility for survivor benefits. Now, if you've been following this channel, you know that's different than if you're remarried and getting spousal benefits as a divorcee. You can't do that. In survivor benefits, you can as long as you remarry after 60. All right, so just keep that in the back of your mind. It can't apply online. We talked about if you wish to apply for disability benefits as a survivor, you can speed up by clicking on here. So we'll talk about that. A few other situations. If you already receive benefits as a spouse, your benefit will automatically convert to the survivor benefit. A few other situations. If you already receive benefits as a spouse, so you're already getting the benefits, you're on your own record, Your benefit will be automatically converted to survivor benefits after we receive the report of death. Now, there's a caveat to this, which I'll explain here in just a second. But just remember, if you're already receiving benefits as a spouse, your benefit will automatically convert to survivor benefits after they get notified of your spouse's death. If you're eligible for retirement benefits but haven't applied yet, you have an additional option. You can apply for retirement or survivor benefits now and switch to the other benefit later. So here's a big deal. This is important. So another reason to delay, because if you delay taking your benefit and something happens to your spouse, you have another option that a lot of people don't. You can then say, I will apply for my own benefits or my survivor benefits and allow my other benefits or my survivor benefits to continue to grow. But you can only do that if you haven't applied and have taken benefits yet, with another caveat. For those already receiving benefits, you can only apply for benefits as a widow or widower if the retirement benefit you receive that you're currently getting on your own record is less than the benefits you would receive as a survivor. So if you're making $2,000 a month, old Josh is $2,000 a month, Charlotte was making $2,300 a month, Charlotte dies in a car crash, I can go and apply for my widow benefits only because my widow benefits, my survivor benefits would be more than what I was making on my own record, if that makes sense. So what that means, though, is because I've already received my benefit, I cannot then turn around and say, I want to decline my benefit right now and go take my widow benefits to allow my own benefit to creep up with the delayed earnings credits at 8%. There's a caveat. If you start drawing your benefits less than a year ago, you can withdraw your application and apply for survivor benefits only. If you do that, you can reapply for your own retirement benefits at a much later date, or a later date when they'll be higher. This is probably the most important thing on survivor benefits that gets overlooked a lot. Once you file and receive your own benefits, as long as it's been over a year, you don't have any option. They're going to pay you the most, the widow benefit or your own, or the widower benefit or your own. That's it. No other option. If you haven't filed and are not receiving benefits, then you have some options. You can say, I will take X, the survivor benefit, and allow my own benefit, Y, to grow with the delayed earnings credits, 8%, or I'll take my own benefit and allow my survivor benefits to grow until I get full retirement age. That's pretty good to know. That's real good to know. So just keep that in mind. Another reason maybe to defer taking Social Security, because there are other circumstances where you could use some strategies here. Surviving divorced spouse. And this is the one I get a lot on my YouTube channel. If you are the divorced spouse of a worker who dies, you could get benefits the same as a widow or widower. It says it right there, my friends. The same as a widow or widower, provided that your marriage lasted at least 10 years. Not 9 years and 9 months. I actually had one of those comments. Nope. Marriage has got to have lasted at least 10 years. Someone said they got divorced, but the marriage thing didn't, or the divorce thing didn't actually go through for another 18 months or something like that. You were married. Just because you're separated, if you haven't had your divorce finalized within that 10-year time frame, you're good to go. Benefits paid to you as a surviving divorce spouse won't affect the benefit amount of other survivors getting the benefits on that deceased worker's record. I cannot stress this enough. What you receive as a divorcee, as long as your marriage lasted 10 years or more, will not affect what your ex-husband's second wife is receiving. She won't know. She won't get reduced benefits. It has nothing to do with her. It just has to do with the fact that you were married 10 years or more. If you remarry after you reach the age of 60, the remarriage will not affect your benefits. So just keep that in mind. If you're 59 and a half, hold on tight before you remarry, because if it's a divorcee and you were married initially over 10 years, you want to, I hate to sound like that. These are the rules, man. I don't make them up. These are the rules. So if you are 59 and a half, you just might want to wait 6 months to get remarried because of Social Security. I hope that makes sense. Just remember a couple things. You get the same benefits as a widower or widower as long as your marriage lasts more than 10 years. Your surviving divorce benefits do not affect or not even made known to the other surviving spouses. If you remarry after age 60, the remarriage will not affect your ability for survivor, divorcee, retirement benefits. If you're caring for a child under the age of 16 and get benefits of the record on your former spouse, you would not have to meet the length of marriage rule. Okay, that's important to know too. If you have a younger kid and your husband or wife dies somehow, and you're only married 6 years, you don't have to. The 10-year thing doesn't matter as long as the child is your former spouse's natural or legally adopted child. If you qualify because you have the worker's child in your care, your benefit will affect the amount of the benefits of the others on the worker's record because there is a family maximum in that regard. So just keep that in mind. But for right now, we're not going to talk about family maximums. And then for your parents, okay, so survivor benefits. So you can look at these for minor disabled kids and you can look for the parents. Survivor benefits amount. All right, so this is important here. Your survivor's benefit amount is based on the earnings of the person who died. The more they paid into Social Security, the higher your benefit will be. So small business owners, for the love of Mary, all these people have these fancy schmancy tax strategies that are horrific, in my opinion. They say, I'm going to reduce my salary so I can take a higher dividend so I don't have to pay as much FICA taxes. You're only shooting yourself in the foot, man. And not only are you shooting yourself in the foot, you're also shooting your surviving spouse as well, and potentially surviving children if they're under the age of 16. So just don't do that. I mean, first of all, the IRS knows these strategies. They know them better than you do, I guarantee, because they deal with them every single day. And secondly, with the new qualified business income rules, they're going to be even more onto it, 199A. Don't do that. Just don't. Just give yourself a nice salary, pay your FICA taxes, and you'll just do it. Get the IRS off your back. The monthly amount you get is a percentage of the deceased basic Social Security benefit. It depends on your age and the type of benefit that you are eligible to receive. So you're the survivor. It depends on the work record of your deceased spouse or ex-spouse, but it also depends on the age in which you apply. If the person who died was receiving reduced benefits, we base your survivor benefits on that amount. Oh, this is so critical to understand. Josh and Charlotte, we both take benefits early. I die. Charlotte will receive a benefit on my reduced record. She will not receive the benefit on my primary insurance amount because I took a reduced record. So here's some examples. The widow at the full retirement age, 66 or 67, will receive 100% of the deceased worker's amount. I die. If I took it early, she will receive 100% of the amount I receive. All right. If I was getting a normal benefit of $2,000, but I took it early, I'm only getting $1,500. She will receive at her full retirement age, 66 or 67, $1,500. Widow or widower age 60, full retirement age, will receive 71.5% to 99% of the deceased worker's basic amount. All right. So again, same thing's applicable here. The amount you would get is a percentage of the deceased worker's basic amount. It depends on the age and type of benefit you are eligible to receive. If the person who died was receiving reduced benefits, we base your survivor benefits on that amount. So 71.5% to 99% of the deceased worker's basic amount, which was the deceased worker amount when he was receiving, that's what they base your benefits on. Disabled widow or widower age 59 to 50 to 59, you get 71.5%. Widower or widower of any age caring for a child under 16 is 75% of the deceased worker's basic amount. Again, the basic amount would be when that deceased worker was taking benefits. A child under age 18, you can read all that, depending what we saw about parents and stuff like that. Percentages for a divorced spouse would be the same above. All right, so just keep that in mind. Again, I just got to read this again. The monthly amount you get as a percentage of the deceased basic Social Security benefit. It depends on your age and the type of benefit you are eligible to receive. These are the types of benefits and your age. If the person who died was receiving reduced benefits, we base your survivor benefits on that amount. That is the basic amount. I don't know why they can't just say basic amount here. They use two different terminologies here. But anyway, a widower or widowed, you at your full retirement age, you'll get 100% of the worker's amount. Whatever that worker is getting, you'll get it. If they're getting reduced benefit or more benefit, that's what you're going to get. If you file at 60, you're going to get 71 to 99% of the deceased worker's basic benefit amount. Again, if the deceased worker was taking a reduced benefit, you're going to get 71.5% to 99% based on your age of that reduced benefit. I hope that makes sense. That's again, another reason to delay until your full retirement age. A disabled, we talked about that. Widower or caring for a child is 75% of the deceased worker's basic amount. Again, the amount he was taking when he died. All right, so just, again, more reason to at least wait until full retirement age to file for your surviving spouse and potentially younger kids if they're under the age of 16. Maximum family amount, let's just go over it because here. There's a limit to amount to the family members can receive each month. The limit varies, but it's generally equal to be between 150 and 180% of the basic benefit rate. If the sum of the benefits payable to family members is greater than this limit, the benefits will be reduced proportionally. So you got 4 kids, each kid gets $1,000. That's $4,000. Your benefit was $3,000 a month. They're going to reduce by 25% each of your kids' benefit amounts to make the maximum family benefit. There are limits on how much survivors may earn while they receive benefits. Benefits for widower, or surviving divorced spouse may be affected by if you remarry before they reach the age of 60. Again, if you remarry before you reach the age of 60, you cannot receive benefits as a surviving spouse. Not while you are married. If you divorce, yes, you can. If you remarry after you reach the age of 60, you will continue to qualify benefits on your deceased spouse's record. However, if your current spouse is a beneficiary, you may want to apply for spousal benefits on their record if that amount would be more than your widow's benefit, which I highly suspect it won't be. Because remember, spousal benefit, the most it can possibly be is 50% of your spouse's record. But we talked about it. Here you can get 100% of your deceased spouse's record. So it's going to be tough to think that you're going to get more as a spouse than you would as the widow benefit. If you receive benefits as a widow, surviving spouse, you can switch to your own retirement benefit as early as age of 62. So you received it at 60. Again, you can receive your own benefit at 62. Depends what's going to pay more. Now, if you watch my video on how Social Security is shortchanging people, I'm not a big fan of doing that at all, actually, because we want your own benefit to grow while you're waiting, while you're receiving survivor benefits. All right. But it's also contingent. Remember, it's contingent on when you filed. If you already filed and have been taking your benefits for over 12 months, you can't switch out. If you've already filed and been within a year, you can switch out and withdraw your own application, which means you'll now get your Social Security survivor benefits and allow your own benefits to grow. I know it's confusing. It is, but you got to understand this stuff. Don't just make a rash decision. And remember, Social Security is going to maximize your benefits for today. They're not going to maximize it or run scenarios for the future. In many cases, a widow or widower can begin receiving one benefit at a reduced rate, then at full retirement age, switch to the other benefit at an unreduced rate. There you go. That's what you need to know. In many cases, a widow or widower can begin receiving one benefit at a reduced rate and then at full retirement, switch to the other benefit at an unreduced rate, as long as you haven't filed, or if you did file, it's within 12 months. If you receive right here is pretty important. If you also receive a pension based on work not covered by Social Security, such as government or foreign work, your Social Security benefits as a survivor will be affected. I know that for a fact, government pension offset, and I'm not going to go into that here today, but I will in another video for sure. The lump sum is $255, so we're not going to talk about that. All right, so I hope this helps. A lot going on here, a lot with survivors. If you are the survivor for widows, widowers, surviving divorced spouses, and even kids and even parents. We didn't talk too much about the parents, but a lot of things you need to know. And I would absolutely read this link right here for sure. If I were you, I would find out before I file for anything what my benefits as a survivor or my survivor benefits to my surviving spouse will be before I file. Because once you start filing, the options are narrowed greatly, so just be careful. I hope this helps, my friends. I know it's a lot to chomp on, but man, it's so doggone important. Subscribe down below if you like the information on the Heritage Wealth Planning YouTube channel. Go up there and hit the notification bell because we do episodes every day. Don't forget to hit the comments. Comments below are always helpful. Thumbs up. Certainly share this episode. Share, please. And don't forget to go to the Heritage Wealth Planning blog at heritagewealthplanning.com, heritagewealthplanning.com. And we'll see you next time on the Heritage Wealth Planning YouTube channel. Thanks, guys.